Did you say you're here to just talk about lead? I'm saying that fluoride causes lead to be leached from the water system. There are several studies that show that fluoride causes a 200 to 400% increase in early childhood lead exposure. And my concern is that by adding fluoride to the water system, we will be lead poisoning our children. I'm also the executive director of the Lead Safe America Foundation. And I don't care about fluoride at all, really. I'm here because I've read several studies that show lead may increase a child's risk of high lead exposure by 200 to 400%. Lead poisoning causes permanent brain damage, learning disabilities, behavioral disorders, lifelong health challenges, kidney disease, liver disease, reproductive health disorders, including erectile dysfunction, which I like to mention because it gets people's attention. I know this because my children have lead poisoning. My children were poisoned here in Portland in 2005. And for anything that may possibly increase their lead exposure after all I've done to reduce their lead exposure, I would be suspect and wish that we would do more research, look into the research on the lead exposure. I was just speaking with a gentleman at the CDC. He said the studies weren't replicated, the studies are old. I'm like, well, I also spoke to Dr. Bruce Lanphier, who's the top pediatric epidemiologist in childhood lead poisoning in the world. And he said, you know, as a community, as a country, we need to first do no harm. And that all of the studies show that this issue necessitates more study, especially in the area of possible lead exposure to children, which is the direct correlative effect when you look at the neurocognitive impacts, including IQ loss. There are over 32 studies showing the impact of low-level lead exposure on IQ, and that can be correlated. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It must be getting late. Did you say you're here to just talk about lead? I'm saying that fluoride causes lead to be leached from the water system. There are several studies that show that fluoride causes a 200 to 400% increase in early childhood lead exposure. And my concern is that by adding fluoride to the water system, we will be lead poisoning our children. If you want to know more about lead poisoning, I'm making a documentary feature film. You can go to my website, misleadmovie.com, M-I-S-L-E-A-D movie.com. Thank you.
Go back to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here, watch this. Shut up. You are free to do as we tell you.